Hey, welcome back. It's Mike Fitzpatrick with the Mike Fitzpatrick team over at Keller Williams, and this is your market update. So, one of the things we're going to go over is the demand in the real estate market. Okay, first of all, buyers don't like 7% interest rates. I don't think anybody would compared to what we've had in the past. So, hey, it is what it is. You know what, though? It's better than 13%. So, the government's not trying to get all their money at once, they're trying to slowly do it. So, and I've always said before that this market is not for everybody. You have to see if it's for you, and if it is for you, then you need to get our 30-day buyer tip videos on how to be the strongest buyer going out there. And if you click the link below, that'll take you right there. All right, by looking at the annual existing home sales, yes, this could be the worst year since 1995. But we're still having sales. And this goes back to what I was saying before. This market may not be for you, but apparently it is for some people. There are people putting their house up on the market. There are people buying it right now. So even though this market might not be for you now, you have to determine when it's going to be ready for you. But this is a good trend, actually. And this is only going to suggest that we're going to go higher, or we may go a little lower. But most likely, if this is the worst home sales since 1995, I'm looking forward to getting some good deals on the buying side. Now, another discouraging factor is our next one. Even when we have this low market right now, and people can say it's due to inflation, people can say all kinds of stuff. It's supply and demand, people. It's inventory. You have to remember, we had more real estate transactions in the last 3 years with over asking offers on properties that they moved into, people refinancing and taking money out, and people just taking advantage of the interest rate. We have more real estate transactions in those 3 years. And that is, in my opinion, why they increased the rate. Not only for the government to recoup some of their loss because they lowered it to a 2.5% interest rate, but they need to slow the inventory down. Everybody was putting their house on the market, so they wanted to slow it down a little bit. It's not supposed to act like the stock market. It's supposed to act like a progressively interest-bearing account, a little bit more of a bond, but on steroids. So if you look at this clip, it says U.S. population. There are 70 more people here now compared to 1995, which was one of the worst markets. So we have more people now looking for houses, but we still have low inventory out there. So the demand is always on the seller to get their property out there, and they're probably going to wind up getting what they want compared to another market. Now, since we're in a bad market, according to the National Association of Realtors, in this slide we're purchase mortgage application. This does not include refinances. And if you look at these years, they have the years of 2024, 2022, and 2023. So yes, in 2022, everybody with a pulse was trying to get buy a house and get into the market. And it also trickled down into 2023. It was a little less. We were feeling the crunch. Well, now we're really feeling the crunch. But guess what? It spiked a little bit from in the middle of June. What's going on? Why are people getting more mortgage? Why are people buying if it's such a bad market right now? And look at that little increase. And it might get bigger. So people are buying and selling. Real estate market is just fine. If you look at the next slide, lower demand leads to increased supply, longer days on market, and greater pressure on prices. This is the truest thing I've heard probably in the last couple days, okay? When you don't have low demand and you have listings out there, you have a supply out there, that supply is going to grow. It's going to increase because nobody really wants to buy. Nobody's paying over asking. And then that means that there's going to be longer days on market for some of these listings. In some areas, you are seeing that. Now, in some areas, you're not. In some areas, you're seeing 10 buyers for every listing. And that means 3 days on the market, 10 to 20% over asking, and less contingencies. But we are starting to see some properties that are not moving, which means is their days on market is increasing. And the normal amount of listings that we get weekly, monthly, yearly are still coming on the market. So now the buyer has a little bit more to choose from, rather than, oh, that's the only one out there, I'm going to give it 80,000 over asking. Now they get to sit back a little bit and analyze it with a real estate agent to make the right offer that's going to get them that house. The next clip we have here is time on market damages prices. And this is true. This is why it's so important to list your property competitively and not just take a price that the seller is going to be happy with if you know that that price is not going to get you the results of when you put it on the MLS. Because here's the deal, if you do, any property that is sitting on the market for 3 to 4 weeks with showings but getting no offers, you need at least a 10 to 15% reduction to make a splash into that market. Hey, 5,000 reduction, 7,000 reduction, even a 10,000 reduction will do zip, will do nothing. You're better off taking the property off the market, putting it back on, or maybe doing an open house, do another kind of splash, or do some kind of upgrade, okay? But if your property has been sitting, getting a ton of showings though, you need at least 10 to 15% off the sales price. And I guarantee you, you'll get competitive offers. You'll get strong offers. So if your property's been on the market 30 days, you're not getting any offers, and you're getting no showings whatsoever, then you need a 20% reduction to create a splash on that property. If not, take it off the market. Because the only person who's buying that property is your seller. Because your seller seems to be the only one that thinks that value is the true value. Because everybody else in the purchasing world is disagreeing with them. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this week's market report. If you want something more local, of course, the figures I gave you is an average nationwide from the National Association of Realtors. Each area is different, from subdivisions to cities to states to counties, all that good stuff. They're all different. So if you want your information in your area, please reach out to Mike Fitzpatrick team at 267-549-2505. You can text, call, or you can email us at selling_your_house@yahoo.com, or you can click below to set up an appointment online immediately. I'll talk to you later. Have a good week.